Cope, where are you, sir? Right there. Then we finish up the day with Bruce Mao, and then I'll tell you about the party tonight. And that's it. George.
Thank you. We can get started here. Well, what I want to do over the next 15 minutes is try to not talk like a corporate CEO, but instead talk about the power of people in an organization and what you can do if you really just focus on people and culture in an organization. When you start with a blank piece of paper and have to create an organization to compete against the biggest organizations in this country and some of the biggest in the world. So let me begin, give you a little bit of background, and then we'll turn to the topic I want to talk about. First of all, just a real quick lesson for those that hopefully everyone knows our name now. You may not know much about us. First 10 years you would know nothing about us. We were a small two-way dispatch company. We went public in 1994 on a story that there could be more than two wireless companies in Canada. The world's changed pretty dramatically, folks. In 1994, it was a strange concept. We went to almost every country in the world. We would never have got public just in Canada. The first IPO to ever go to Japan and convince everyone that we could maybe create something that would compete and that someday there would be wireless competition in Canada beyond the two players. And so we were fortunate enough to win what's known as a national PCS license. We made 30 acquisitions and created a business known as Mike and launched these services. If I get this to move and we'll be in business. Yeah? Wireless problem, yeah. Well, I get someone to move that? There we are. So anyway, just a little bit more on the background. If you go back, you don't have to go back that far in Canada and remember that there was something called the analog world. We thought, there's going to be a move to digital, and we have an opportunity here. The consumer, the way we all bought wireless in Canada, again, just quickly, you may remember we signed a contract. In fact, we ran an ad once that said, it's really not a treaty for world peace, it's a wireless phone. And so let's get away with that. We thought it would be and could be the fastest growing consumer product in the history of the world a number of years ago. And that someday, frankly, we wouldn't use wired phones, we'd use wireless phones in our home. So great idea. We're unknown. We've raised our first $20, $30 million. We have to raise $3.5 billion. We have 9 people, we need 2,500. You've never heard of us. We're in Pickering, of all places. And the competition's as scary as it can be. Bell, a guy named Ted Rogers, he can be scary, and a lot of other things. So we decided, we did that real simple thing. In fact, I remember we went away to one of these strategic offsites, the sort of 5 of us. There was only 9 of us, so 5 of us had to be bosses. And we sat there and we started writing out that typical MBA thing. If you're MBAs, I was trained that way. Write out all the advantages and your advantages. Well, it got to be the most depressing offsite you ever saw because we just kept writing what they had, and we had nothing other than 9 people and a great idea. So we said, let's just pause here and think about it. When you open the door at these huge multinational companies, what's really behind it? You take all the money, all the advertising, everything else, it's people. And you hear companies saying that, but we meant it sincerely. If we focus on people, we can take these people on and take these organizations on. And so if we focus on getting the best people that you can get, and not people from necessarily the telephone industry, but from all cross-sections of life and education. We got young people. The average age now of the company is 31. The average compensation is over $40,000. And 90% of our people have post-secondary education. When we focused on people, it's great, you're going to say that. Well, how are you going to do it? And how are you going to make it sustainable and make a difference in the marketplace? I'm having a terrible time with this. That's a great idea. There we go. So we decided what we had to do if we were going to make this sustainable is create a company value system, an actual culture. And people talk about this in organizations, not many really do it. So we came up with what would make an organization different, and then would let people sort of identify with the company beyond simply profit and loss, and that's important because all we do is lose money at the moment. So we had these terms, and we used the words balance, hard work, fun, just do it, speed and accuracy, information sharing, all these terms. We decided we wouldn't define them, we'd let the people who joined the company define them. We'll hope we get lucky here. Nope, there we go. And rather than do what most organizations do, we didn't just write them down and then leave them on the side and not focus on it. We decided to put things right behind these value systems. So let me give you an example of some of the stuff we did that's pretty unique, we think, and actually has worked really, really well. We created something called a dream fund. You're going to create a company to compete with these big guys, yet one of your values is balance. We realized we're probably not going to get much balance. So we created a fund, and what it was every employee in the company has to bill ClearNET $1,000 for something fun. And it has to be, doesn't matter, we don't care what it is you do, but rather than give people a bonus that gets lost, it's a different amount for everyone in the company. Came with this idea of dream fund. We're not living up to balance, we're going to give you this fund. Well, people do bill us for everything, even Harley Davidson's, as is mentioned, in terms of down payments anyway. And so we came up with that. We implemented a program that's $1 million in 2001. And what we did there is we lose $500 million a year. And I have to convince people constantly that I'm not insane and that ClearNet's not insane and that it's a viable business, that you can lose $500 million a year. So we created a program where we know if we get clients, we get there. And every client we get, we put a jelly bean actually in a rocket at work. Every jelly bean represents $10, and it's a client. When we get to 1 million clients, we have a pool of $10 million. We have to be there at the end of 2001. And as long as you've been there, that pool gets divided pro rata by how long you've been there at the company. And it's great. Now, the running joke is I'm laying everybody off the day before we get to the 2001. Great news is we're probably going to be at 1.3 million. We're going to have 13 million. We're already booking the party because it's a year out, and it's divided by the people that are there. So sort of putting your, if you will, something creative around culture. We have something called Planet Balance, as a cappuccino bar, music room, computer games area, stuff that's just completely different, things that people in the marketplace hadn't done and are doing more now. We have 2,500 employees. I have lunch with every new employee. I'm with 5 people every Monday. I'm 2 years behind. It's no longer called a new employee lunch, but it's a focus on people. Sometimes it's the exit lunch, but anyway, that's. We go on a road show every 90 days across Canada. We sit in rooms of 1,500 people and we present what's going on in the company. We have something really unique, ClearNet alumni. People are young, they're going to go, they're going to leave, they're going to go to the States. But they're talented. It's not a problem if they leave. A lot of them find out that we actually do have a culture. When they're particularly young and they haven't worked anywhere else, it's even harder to respect what we're trying to do. So we have an alumni. We actually write people who have left our company, keep them up to date on what's going on, and have a complete open door that we would want you to always come back with your experiences. Complete different mindset around people. Boy, is that hard to get through management's mind. You know, to not be resentful when someone resigns. Actually, you want to pursue them and get them back if you can. Oh boy. Come on. I'll pay you to make this work. There we go. How did we do? Well, not bad. When we launched in the first 90 days, some of you may remember because we ran out of phones, we sold more wireless phones in the first 90 days than any wireless company in North America did with their launch. You may remember and still do, we use nature in all of our advertising. We use nature because we think it's as far away from technology as you can be. It disarms everyone. You can go anywhere with it. Goes across all gender, all religion, and it's a lot of fun. And the commercial guy in me has to tell you, the characters are extremely cheap. So there's some other advantages as well. We did well also for the capital markets, the people that matter in the space I'm in, obviously, in that we're one of the better performing stocks. We have raised that $3.5 billion and done pretty well with this focus on the people. So that's round one for our company and what you can do when you really, really do focus and have a culture that's committed to the organization, to the development of people, and you don't just pay lip service to it. Round two is the internet. We thought it was going to be easy, and along comes the wireless internet and changed it. I thought I'd just take a few moments and tell you a little bit about that. Nothing about ClearNET, just what's going to happen in this space. It's sort of fun in the wireless world too. By 2003, more people will access the internet from their wireless device than from a landline computer today. It's only 3 years away. That's the forecast, probably by the wireless folks, but it's a forecast. Later this year, some of you may already be using one of our competitors' products early on. You're basically going to be able to access the web for information you want on a wireless handset. And yes, the screens are going to get bigger and different. You're going to have palm-top devices with cords in the side that you can use for a cord phone or for accessing the web. Where's that Italian restaurant? You're going to know, you're going to have location. I think this may be one of the best marriage savers ever. You know, wireless phone with a map. Well, we will know exactly who it is. And let me give you a really simple application. Gas prices are rather relevant today. If you can be in an area and just quickly look, very quickly, I want the lowest gas price within 2 miles of here, we'll all drive the 2 miles. Location services are going to be down to, you know, very, very tight distances. And you know, there's some safety advantages to this as well. We recently were utilizing our service, and we helped the police locate a wife and her 3 children who had been abducted by an estranged husband and safely find them because they had their wireless phone without any conversation, just using the tracking service. So this technology has benefits, you know, beyond just the commercial applications. Check all my messages. Let me just tell you what this means for you. I don't know if you check your email, you check your voicemail, you check your fax machine. Like, it's a lot. In the world of wireless, you'll be able to check all messages in one location. You'll be able to port your number from landline to wireless, one device. And I don't know, I'm glad it's going to be probably a wireless device. Hopefully you're just glad you don't have 5 different mailboxes that you're checking every different type of information you possibly can. Remember, folks, you can always turn them off. I do too. That's a cool song. You're at the club, whatever you're doing, you're going to, by next year, you'll be able to download songs, MP3, on your wireless handset, CD quality, put your headset on, use it for that, and when you want, it's obviously back to being your wireless device. Only a year away. Finally, we'll have streaming. Within the next 2 to 3 years, if you just imagine for a minute, every daycare in the world probably will have cameras. You're going to have to for safety reasons. I think wireless can enhance all of our lives because, quite frankly, we don't have to worry how our child is doing. We can see how our child is doing anywhere we are on the globe at any time we want going into the future. So the wireless world and our round 2 for us, now that we've got started and we made this thing happen with the focus on people, is taking our team, keeping our team, and launching these wireless services in a world that's a lot of fun to be in. What I wanted to conclude with, and sort of come back to the beginning of the presentation, is you truly can build a culture and use it as a competitive weapon. We aren't perfect yet as a company. We've got lots to do because we started off with 9 people and added 2,400 and whatever that needs to get to 2,500 in 5 years, and are growing rapidly. But we're keeping our people at a rate that's extraordinary relative to our competition. We make our culture real, we make it dynamic, we make it fun. We spend a lot of time at work. If you're not having fun wherever you're working today, folks, go work somewhere else. Because you should have fun in what you're doing, and people know I believe that, and we try to live that within the organization. They will come, and we use the term they will stay, provided you really do live this culture. And at the end of the day, great lesson for the 5 of us is we were right. We couldn't take on the giants, but they could take on the giants, and we did. Thank you very much.